We are back in the shop today, guys. I am super excited because today I am going to be focusing on the Blazer. Now, you guys remember whenever we last worked on this thing, we got all the sound deadener in it. Now today what we're going to do is hopefully get the spray-on bedliner inside of it. I went ahead and picked up a few cans of this adhesion promoter. Hopefully 3 cans is enough, but I don't know if it will be or not. First things first, what we got to work on is wrapping up the inside. We got to mask off everything that we do not want to be sprayed. So yeah, that's where we're going to start at today. Been doing a lot of masking on this thing. Went ahead, pulled the hinges out of the bottom here, masked all this off, pulled the latches off, got this all masked off, the whole interior. You can see the seat belts, the bolts, all the hardware that I want to retain. We also did the door jambs, the dash, the shifter, all the bolts. Well, these, see, I just used some earplugs, that way I could easily pull them out, and the ones that were still bolts that I didn't have earplugs for, just taped them off. While it's still wet, after I'm done, after it's wet, I'm gonna peel all this off of here, that way it doesn't, because once that stuff sets up, I mean, I'm guessing, I've never sprayed it before, but based on what I've seen, when it sets up, it's gonna be kind of hard to manipulate a little bit, so we don't want our tape to just stick to it and all that. Under the dash is going to be kind of hard. I'm going to just cut a piece of cardboard and use it as an edge to kind of help me out with that. I taped off the pedals, everything, the bottom side of the dash over there. She is almost ready. We just got one more piece that we need to mask off. I got the whole thing scuffed up, so sanded the whole tailgate down and also the interior of the bed here. Bed? Do you want to call it a bed? It's inside of a Blazer. You know what I mean. So went ahead, sanded all this, scuffed it all up, so it is all prepped. Now afterwards, I went ahead and masked off the sides of this. I don't want the whole thing to be covered in that bed liner. Like you can see, I stopped at this edge. It'll kind of seal the bottom of this, but we'll still have the drain holes to where water can escape just fine. There's plenty of holes in this thing. So did that, masked off this end, and also masked this end. I went ahead and used paper. I used plastic and painter's tape right there. So whenever I'm shooting this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and angle it up a little bit. That way I can shoot the top, this side and the bottom all evenly. But for right now, what we got to do is degrease the entire thing. Now this is going to suck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead, start with the alcohol and end with the Prep-All. I had to run home, grab a couple of big things of paper towels because we are going to go through a ton of them. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, everything is degreased and ready. I took extra care. I'm gonna double check and make sure that all of my tape is still on there just fine and everything. But for right now, we got to concentrate on this. This is Al's Premium Bedliner kit. So it's the order of operations: Protect, Scuff, Prime, Spray. We just passed Scuff. Now we're about to Prime. Let's see what that is. So what they're actually talking about is this little guy right here, little bitty spray nozzle, and this adhesion promoter. That's what they're talking about. We'll get the directions out just to make sure, but the thing is I don't know if it showed up in any other clips, but I had 2 other boxes of this. Now she bought this. This is her stuff. This is her blazer and all that. But I opened the boxes for the first time ever, and this stuff was rock hard inside there. The other containers were kind of crunchy and all that. So I called Al's, and I was just like, "Hey, what's your shelf life like on this product?" And they said, "Well, it depends. What's on the top of the box? Because usually it's a year, 1 year." And I looked at the top. Now, as you can see, this is a new one, June 1st, 2023. The other box she had was from 2018. She's had this for a few years now. So yeah, only a 1 year shelf life on this. So the other batch was no bueno, so we bought 2 more, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get to mixing. Well, first we got to primer the inside, or adhesion promoter the inside. I just got done spraying the adhesion promoter up in the front and all the way back to here. It's that wet line you can see. I did not do the floor right here though, in case I need to get up in there and spray in there. So yeah, the next part I guess is waiting 15 minutes, and then we're gonna mix up a batch and try to spray it. This is kind of nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of nerve-wracking. Alright, I just finished up spraying it. Dude, I accidentally knocked the camera over, but I couldn't stop. I had to just keep going. My air pressure dipped out on me, and I kind of screwed up the sides of this. You see how crappy that looks right there. I might be able to go over it with a roller and get some texture back in it. I'll just have to see though. But man, you had to hustle with this. The pot life was really short on it. There was no time to stand around. That's why when I knocked the camera over, I had to keep going. But yeah, it turned out fairly well up here. Like I said, those sides, man, when that air pressure dipped out, I thought it was setting up on me in the pot, but come to find out what it was my air pressure was dipping out. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a decent product, but it would really be awesome if you had some help. If any of you guys ever take this on, it would really help to have an extra set of hands. That's for sure. And clean up your work area a little better than I did. But for now, before this stuff sets up, I need to pull the masking. You want to pull the masking while it's still wet. The kits came with 2 little spray bottles of adhesion promoter. They only went so far. I also had this Raptor adhesion promoter, but unfortunately, so I took my boots off so I wasn't messing up the surface and all that. Like, I sat here, kicked my boots off, and climbed up in there. Well, apparently I stepped in some, and now my socks are glued to my feet. What the? Jesus. Fuck my life, dude. I am back in here today. It is a few days later, 4 days later. Coming and inspecting, seeing how this turned out. Now, just looking at this, it looks pretty good. See how nice that is? Now these wrinkles that are in here, yeah, you can see these wrinkles that are in here, right? Now that is not from this material. That is because, remember, the sound and heat barrier I put underneath of this. But yeah. You can also see that it's kind of thin in a couple spots. See it right there? It shows up really good. You can see that. I kind of like this product. Now, it does appear like regular normal bed liner with the dimpled coating look, but it's soft. It's like soft to the touch. It's a nice product. The tailgate you can see right here. But you can see I'm going to have to buy like another kit or two because you can see the light areas. There's one there. There's one there, down there. Is that thunder? It's thundering outside. I think it's gonna rain. But anyways, there's a really light spot right here. You can see the paint coming through right there. That's what that is. But I had a couple of issues, but they were my own fault. As you can see, the sides look like crap. They look like absolute crap now, and both sides do. But the thing is if I set my gun up the same way for this and the tailgate coating and just go over that again and add texture to it, it should turn out just fine. That, go over the light areas that I missed and stuff like that, it should turn out really, really nice. Now, one thing you have to be conscious of if you're spraying this product is make sure all of your masking you pull while it's still wet. Now these ones here that I didn't pull, I screwed up. Like this right here is attached to the bed, and I'm gonna have to probably cut that off with a razor knife and then respray it with the next kit that I get. But you can see, just masking with painter's tape, it turned out really nice, but unfortunately I thought I got all of it off, but I missed this strip of tape. I cannot believe it. So I'm gonna have to very gently pull that up and try to trim it with a razor blade as I pull it up or something. I missed that one strip, and you have to move quick with this product. If you don't move quick, you're gonna have a bad day. And I even mixed it up so it would dry slower, and I was battling the clock. I'll tell you what, don't be like me. You guys, if you got friends or something like that, yeah, make sure you have a friend come help you out or another set of hands or something like that, because I could have really used it on this job. The reason I say that is, one, pulling masking before it dries, and two, maybe just an extra set of eyes, or just somebody to help out, period, man. Maybe with mixing and stuff like that. But dude, it would be very awesome to have another set of hands on this. But I am gonna, like I said, I am gonna end up buying another kit or two and doing this over again and retexturing like the walls and stuff like that, because I'm not too happy with the walls. I'm gonna redo the wheel wells. I'm going to do it again on this side, but I'm also going to do it from the other side, because remember, that is single layer steel right there. That's not double wall. So like the side, the bed sides, this is double wall. There's an inner and an outer shell. Since there's none of the sound deadening material on the wheel wells, we want to do our due diligence on that and try to, we want to keep as much heat and sound out as we can. I know it sounds funny because it's a military vehicle, but that's what she wants. So now we're going to talk about this. So as you saw, I did buy the 1 gallon black kit of Owl's Bedliner. Now here are the components. The big one, this will be a clear fluid. It'll be up to here. This will be like a brownish color. I don't know if you can see the remnants. See down there in the bottom? It's like a brown. Now you need to make sure this is shaken really well to where there's no residue on the bottom whenever you turn it over and look at it. Okay? You have the C. Now if you notice, there's a little bit in there still. This is milky white. It looks like milk in a bottle. This is what can make or break you right here. Okay? Then you have this little container here. It's just black coloring, nothing too major. So here's how I mixed it. First things first, crack this guy open. Make sure this is well shaken. Pour that guy in there. Okay, grab your black ink. Make sure that's good and shaken. Pour that in there. Okay, the very last component you want is this right here, the milky white substance, component C. Now, I have about this much. Left in the bottle, right? Next time I spray it, I think I'm gonna leave just a little bit more in the container. And then what you do is you use they supply you with a little mixing paddle bit. You throw it in a drill and you just mix it until there's no more white, until there's no more white showing up in the container. You just mix it up. And in their manual, they say right here, it says thoroughly mix the contents until all the white is gone and color is uniform. 30 seconds max. Now the reason they say 30 seconds max is because that is the catalyst. It is what makes it set up. If you continue to mix it, it will set up prematurely and you won't even get it out of the gun. So the thing is you guys saw how I didn't use it all. The reason being is the less you add, the longer it takes to set up, right? So here's what that means. Say you're laying it on, and if you don't mix enough of the white stuff, it will drip down the wall. Now this is because I sprayed too much, and I'll cover that in a minute, but for right now we're going to concentrate on the mixing. If you spray it with too little of the catalyst, it will run, and too much, it'll set up too quick. I thought that this stuff set up really fast, so you can see there's like this rib on the bottle, right? Now I am right below the halfway line on that. I think next time I'm only gonna dump till about there, and then I'm gonna mix it. That way I got a little bit more work time with it, but I gotta make sure that it doesn't run on the walls. Now, the reason that it ran on the walls is my own fault. Here I was just spraying along, and I get to the wall and I start spraying on the wall and the gun just starts spitting. It's just, and I'm like, what the heck? I thought it was setting up in the hopper. So I just full blast pulled the trigger and just started going down the wall. Well, whenever I finally looked down at the air pressure gauge, there was none. And that's because I forgot to turn on the air compressor. I was literally running off of what was in the tank, and it went all the way to 0. So that's why the walls look like that. That is my fault. I'll take that one on the chin. I'll own it. So next, let's talk guns. What we did was we went to Harbor Freight, got this 1.5 gallon texture spray gun, dirt cheap item. It is recommended. Ooh. Now, as you can see, I didn't spray the inside of it with mold release, so now that's kind of stuck in there. It'll be a little bit of work to clean that out. Now, when you guys buy one of these guns, it comes with multiple tips. It was recommended online to use the smallest tip available. What I mean by that is the orifice size, okay? See how there's 2 different sizes there, and then there's one that comes from the factory with one in the gun already installed. But for this application, we use the smallest orifice, okay? 3 nozzle sizes, 3/16, quarter, and 5/16. So that means that we use the 3/16 size. And it worked really well. Like I said, there is a learning curve to this, and I'm just sharing with you guys what I did wrong and how I should have done it. I could have used a little bit more adult supervision on this than I had, but it is what it is. So what I did, I came over here, did my test spray on it. I liked the way it looked. You can adjust that based on how you want it to look. So the way that I saw the guys talk about it online, and also the way I did it, is I just barely pulled the trigger. I barely pulled it back like that. Now, be forewarned, it's normal for this to just spray air constantly. You'll hook it up and it'll just spray constantly, and all you do is adjust how much material is pulled out of the hopper and sprayed onto the surface. So yeah, I just took it over there, did some test sprays on my cardboard. I liked the way it looked, how heavy it laid and all that, and there's only the adjustment here. That's it. So I just went for it. And as you can see, it turned out a pretty good product. This Owls liner is pretty good stuff. I like how it's kind of soft to the touch. That's my thing.